Listen, in many ways in hip hop, Lil Wayne is an icon. He's a legend. In many people's lists, he's definitely one of the top 20 MCs, if not the top 10, if not the top 5, depending on who you are. And I can agree on some of those things. But after giving the Carter Six a pretty good listen, I can say that it's time for Wayne to transition into just being a feature artist and not drop any more albums. Let's get into it. All right. But now, before we start, if you're a Lil Wayne fan who saw the thumbnail or whatever, I know from the Super Bowl stuff and talking about Lil Wayne, his fan base is strong and they're passionate about Lil Wayne. I feel you. I'm not here to just tear down Lil Wayne. I'm not. I like Lil Wayne as an MC. However, this album, The Carter Six, which I was looking forward to, the one thing I will say, let me start with the positive. The one thing I will say, I like that he did not really try to get into any beef, start any controversy or anything like that with the Super Bowl, with Kendrick Lamar, with Drake, with anybody. He just made an album for his fans. I can appreciate that. The first 5 records, listen to the first part of the album. Now, seeing people's comments on it, people messaging me about it, they didn't like it, right? But when I first listened to it, when I listened to King Carter, Welcome to the Carter, The Bells, the LL Cool J throwback, Hip Hop, love that record. Sharks, love that record, right? Big Sean got busy. Jay Jones got busy. Not sure who he is, but he got busy on his verse. Big X the Plug is killing things out here. Killed the hook. All of that was great, right? Jelly Roll was great on the hook. Great. So when I listened to the first 5 tracks, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a pretty good album. It is not. It is not a good album. Those first 5 tracks are pretty good. The album falls off a cliff after that. And this is 19 records. If you haven't listened to the album yet, the Carter Six is 19 records. Probably should have been 11, 10. I also appreciate the fact that he used his children. They got records on here, features on here. This is what I will say, though. This has happened to every artist. This is going to be an unpopular opinion. Okay, I felt the same way, even though I like the Jay-Z 444 record, right? It is not really a good record when you go back and listen to it, right? And Jay-Z with the Magna Carta record and his last few records were not very good. This happens with artists. I think that Lil Wayne is in the same space Jay-Z was towards the end of his career, is that he's kind of run out of things to say and talk about. But if he just became a feature artist, his appearances would be more impactful. I don't think he has an album's worth of things to talk about. I think this is Lil Wayne's swan song and last album. The beats on this album are, other than those first 5, are terrible. They're not good at all. And I understand what he was trying to do. I think he can tour this album because for the right audience, and I said right with an R, don't start with me in the comments, but for the right audience, some of the records, like the record with Bono and some of the more poppy, for lack of a better term, Taylor Swift type records that he made on here, they're not the same quality, but they're like that, poppy type kind of situation there. They will play better on a stage, right? For the right audience, again. But I think that this should definitely be Lil Wayne's last album, because he doesn't have the lyrics, the punchlines, all that got real repetitive. It was hard to get through a whole song. Once I got to about track 12, if I played guitar, the Peanuts in Peanuts 2 and Elephant. These records, I don't understand where he thought he was going with this. These sound like ringtone beats to me, from the ringtone era of hip hop. I haven't dug into the producers yet, because a lot of them I never heard of, just looking at the track listing. Manny Fresh had a feature on here. It was not good at all, and that's very surprising. I just don't know what happened here. This was just not good. It was not a good album. It was very mid all the way through. I mean, it's Lil Wayne, so there's a certain level, right? It's better than the average Joe Schmo's records, right? An album. But for the build up, the Super Bowl commercial, all those things, this was not it whatsoever. Again, listening to the first 5 tracks, I thought this would at least be on par with Eminem's last album, which I thought was a very good album. And then it just, like I said, just fell off a cliff for 13, 14 more tracks. And I think that Lil Wayne should seriously consider just being a featured artist. Just pop out on features, pop out on collabs, maybe even do a collab album with somebody. But doing another Carter 7 or another solo project, just probably should not do it. Probably should not do it. I think Lil Wayne should probably go in the direction of maybe a Hot Boys album reunion or something, a reunion album or something like that. Yeah, this is a pretty bad fall off here. And leading up to this, some of the mixtapes Wayne has dropped in recent years have been pretty good. They've been pretty good. So this album being kind of just didn't seem like he was up to it energetically. Like I said, the lyrics were repetitive, and I try not to trash albums or talk about albums that I don't like, but this is more a conversation on Lil Wayne's legacy, so to speak, and where he is now. I think that we should not expect Lil Wayne to be at the forefront of hip hop anymore. He has become a legacy act, and it doesn't really sound like he has it in him anymore to put a lot of effort into making the whole album. That's what I'll say. And in seeing some of the reaction to the album, there's another thing that I think that's important. Other than the big Wayne stans who are gonna like, stans of an artist are gonna like anything that the artist makes, and they're gonna defend it until they can't defend it anymore. But leading up to the release of this album, with Wayne getting into the whole Kendrick and Drake thing, with the Super Bowl announcement of Kendrick doing the Super Bowl, and him sort of seeming like he was being a little bit of a entitled person about it, and a little bit of a crybaby about it, at least according to many of the fans' perspective. It puts a lot of pressure on the artist to bounce back from that, and I really wish artists would stay out of things that don't involve them. Even though there's a lot of outcry from people who like gossip and who like mess, for artists to have an opinion on certain things you just stay out of. That's controversial. Because maybe this album and the initial response, it would be received better if he wasn't already fighting against kind of being put in a bad light due to his response to Kendrick Lamar getting the Super Bowl, right? And commenting on that and doing the video and all those kind of things. I know he wanted to talk to his fans, but the fans don't need a response. Congratulate Kendrick in the post and move on and keep working on your album. Stay out of things that don't involve you. Don't always have something to say with things that don't involve you, because you never know how people are going to react. And sometimes people are setting you up just to throw daggers into your persona and career. You know what I mean? So that's something I think artists should start to consider, as far as just wanting to comment on everything, support who you support, and just don't get into the drama. Because I think that this is a bad look for Lil Wayne, coming off of his reaction to the Super Bowl, then dropping this very mid at best album. This is mid at best. But anyway, let me know if you maybe have an opposite opinion. Maybe it's something I'm missing about the album. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you agree, disagree, comment below. Hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button yet. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Share this video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank y'all for watching this always, and we out.